Welcome everyone. We're here to talk a little bit about competition day and some things and answer questions if you have any at the end of the presentation or even during the presentation. If you have a question, just raise your hand. We're going to wait about maybe one more minute for people to show up. Since it is recorded, they can always catch up to us later. Whoops, I want to get this onto a different page, different window though, so I can watch it better. Is it still sharing?
Yes, I see your portal account.
Okay, so that's the wrong account, the wrong thing to share. This is the one we want to share. All right, there we go. All right, does that say Vaso on it for me, Hamboom?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Anybody else waiting to come in? Nope.
Nope, everyone is in.
All right, let's get started then. All right, as you said, welcome. Um, so we sort of want to go through the day of the competition so you can get an understanding of what's going to go on. So you can arrive as early as 8 o'clock. Well, you could arrive earlier if you want. 8 o'clock will open the doors. Coaches need to head to the Vaso or Division A office and pick up your coach packet. At that time, once you get, somebody needs to mute themselves. Okay. Yeah, if you have your speaker on, everybody please mute it so that we're not hearing background noises. Let me go back here. Once you get your coach packet, at the same time, students can go through and find their competition rooms. I think I had this statement a little earlier because the next slide will be clearer on that. No one should be entering the rooms because the event supervisors are still setting up. They're still getting ready for the event, especially you don't need to talk to them about anything. That's what we're there for. In your coach packet, you're going to have wristbands for every student that is on your roster, and you'll have a wristband for you as the coach. And if there's an assistant coach, there'll be a wristband. They will have the student's name on it, and it will have your team number on it. When the students go to a competition room, the event supervisor is going to check that the number matches that team that's supposed to be there at that time. And to make sure that if there's only 2 students for that event, then to make sure there's only 2 students in the room for that team. I know there's been some questions coming through about the number of students in an event, and it's clear in the rules how many students can come to each event. Also in this packet, there's going to be a competition brochure, and in the brochure, it's going to list all the room numbers. It should have a map of the school where the rooms are. I have not set up a map for Thomas Jefferson yet, but for Langley, it's only on 2 hallways and they're above each other. So it's a very simple setup, very easy to navigate. We're also going to give you a trash bag to clean up your area, make sure it's clean before we leave. And there's going to be chaperone badges. You'll get 1 per team. So if you have 2 teams, I'll give you 2 badges. 3 teams, you'll get 3 badges. And we do need those badges back at the end of the day. This is also the only time the parents and students can walk the building together, except for parents to use the bathroom. And we're going to close the hallways at 8:45 so that we can give final instructions to any event supervisors that need some help there. Questions on arrival? All right, so we'll move on. So during the competition, only coaches and chaperones may enter the building. Coaches, you're going to have a wristband. Make sure it's visible at all times so I don't have to ask you for it, because that's one of my jobs, is walking around making sure that people are in the right places. Chaperones, like I said, are going to have a lanyard that says chaperone on it. Chaperones may change from hour to hour if you want. That's fine. It doesn't have to be the same person every time. And that keeps the parents happy. They get to walk in with their kid and so forth. There's going to be a holding area for them to sit and meet, chat with themselves so that they're not in the hallways. And there can be no photography in the building of building event areas because that's just not fair to all the teams. So we ask that that's kept secret from your team and all the other teams. There's no food on site that we know of, so teams need to bring their own lunches. And how you do that is up to you. Students are going to wait outside in their team area when they're not competing, so make sure they have snacks and games, something to entertain them while they're there. And we will send out at a later time where to park at each venue. We will have buses coming this year with students, and they're going to be parking in the bus lanes, so we can't have parents parking there. I know at Langley we can block it off and let them in, type of thing. Anything about during the competition you think I have not covered or you need covered?
Where can I find the Division A office?
It'll be listed on the map. So whether it's a Langley or a TJ, it's going to be listed on the map it'll give you a room number. At Langley, when you come in the doors, you make an immediate right, and we're like the third door down on the right-hand side. Pretty easy to find. But TJ, like I said, I haven't investigated TJ's rooms yet, so those are going to TJ. You'll get that information a little bit later. Let's see, we have another team areas right now are all team areas right now are all outside the building. We have no inside space for you. We're working on that. If it changes, we will let you know. There's no assigned parking spaces. It's first come, first serve. And again, I can only talk to Langley because that's all we've been at for the last couple of years. Teams usually set up. There's a sort of like a median beside the building. Teams come and set their canopies up, or they go up by the football field and do like a tailgate up there. So there's plenty of space to spread out. Just not in front of the door. And
Hi, this is Sangeeta from Hovater Elementary School. I have a question.
Go ahead.
So there is a permission slip, right? That's there in the website that the parents need to sign up for the permission.
Correct. Are you having them sign up? Are you having them sign up online?
Yeah, I'm planning to send them to the parents. I'm yet to send them, but I just want to know how to track whether, because the permission slip is in the Science Olympiad website, so it won't be coming to me, right? How do I know that the parents have signed up?
So I'll show you that when we get to the portal, because we're going to go look at the portal here in a moment. Okay?
Yeah, sure. Thank you.
Yeah. All right. Event discussions. One of the things that happens a lot of these competitions is the children come out of their competition and the parents start grilling them on about what happened. And the parents, a lot of times, haven't read all the rules and they think something has happened wrong. So if you have a student who wants to discuss their event, you can bring them to the VASO office, the Division A office, and we'll talk with the students to see what's going on. And we'll talk with you as the head coach, and then we'll talk amongst ourselves as our rules committee, and then we'll let you know how we're going to proceed with it. We want to make sure that the students involved are there. We're not going to talk to any parents if we don't see a coach band or an assistant coach band. We're going to turn them away. So make sure you as the coach are available for them. And we can usually get them taken care of within a couple of minutes, to the satisfaction of everybody. And above all means, no one is to go talk to with the event supervisors. If you do that, it's an immediate disqualification for that set of students. If it gets, if it escalates from there, we'll ask the parent to take their student home. Awards. A coach or designee must be present for the awards. We have to have somebody there to pick up the awards at the end. And I'll touch on that again here in a moment. We are going to have a parade this year. We've done that in the past. Those of you who've done it with us before. Once we say we're ready to start handing out awards, we'll let you know. So if you want, create a banner for your team so you can march into the area to pick up your awards. We are giving out 1st through 6th place. There was a team who didn't understand that. We hope to begin around 4:30. We will review all the scores again a second time after everything is said and done. And if we need to update any awards, we will. Sometimes we make mistakes trying to transfer awards back and forth, making sure that we have it all. And if we make a mistake, we're not going to ask a student to return an improperly awarded medal. They'll get to keep that. And we'll update, whoever needs to get a new medal. We'll give that up to them also. Cindy Chin, I'll answer your question here in a moment when we get to the FAQ part. If you are a Title I coach and you are riding the bus to the competition with your team, you need to let us know so that we hold your medals back for you, and we will send them out through the pony to you. Or any other team that's coming by bus. Because I know that I've got an assistant coach who's going to ride my bus, but my team is going to have to leave at about 4 o'clock to get back to school in time for the bus driver to go home. All of the teams, you must have somebody there that's going to pick up the medals on tournament day. So if you as the coach have to leave or the assistant coach has to leave, we have to know who's going to pick up the medals for you. And that's what we have there. This year we have 72 schools. It's 125 teams and approximately 1,800 students. This is the breakdown of teams at each venue at each date. You can see that there is Langley has only 20. Langley 2 only has 24. So it's going to be a nice day there. Portal checks. You as the coach, you need to make sure that you have all your volunteers registered in your portal. This includes your chaperones. Have them register in the portal also, because once you hit that magic number of 2 volunteers per team, then it opens up all the functionalities of your account, which comes with creating your schedules for your students. Also check on your student registrations. Make sure that you know who hasn't registered yet. We're coming down to the end of the dates. If I remember right, October 16th, I believe, is the date for the first competition. Those are in the rules manual also as to what dates you need to have all of that completed. We do want a good account now of how many teams you're bringing to each event. So if you have one, of course, if you only have one team, if everybody is in every written event, just let us know that you're going to have a team there. So that way we don't print 35 copies of everything when we only need 20 copies of something. And go ahead. And your tournament results, as we finalize the scores per event, they should pop up in your portal account. So you can look, keep refreshing and see what's going on there as the day progresses. I don't think we'll have anything really finalized until about 3:30-ish, 3:15-ish. There might be some from the morning events in there. I don't run the score room, so I'm just,
So it will be after the award ceremony. They can see it after the award ceremony.
After the award, they can't see them in real time?
No.
Okay. Coach scheduling. Once you get your team number, and we're almost done setting that up, and you have all your volunteers listed per team, then you're going to go to the portal and start scheduling their events. Scheduling can start tomorrow at 2 p.m. And the big thing is we have these draft schedule sheets. I'll show you where to find them in the portal. And that's going to help you because it blocks off all the other times within the day that your team can't compete in certain events. So like if you're team 4, you're going to look for the area where team 4 is, fill in all your students that are for your written tests first, and then look down at the bottom of the page to see when you could schedule them for your testing events. And I'm hoping that that's pretty self-explanatory. And then down here we have your team number. The first number is are you competition 1, 2, 3, or 4? The second 2 digits are going to be your team number once you get them. All right, I want to change to a different tab here. Get out of this. I want to stop sharing that. And let me see what these questions are before I go for we'll come to know the results same day. All right, already announced that. Karen already said that. All right, and I have to answer that question. All right, so let me share my screen. I'm in the portal here, and this is our test school. So over here where it says create your teams, one of the things that you might want to do is go over here and you see where it says award ceremony display name. If I don't really want my team to be called Test School Pikachu, I can change these names. So I can change Pikachu over here in this first column. You can see that it gives me the team number here. It also tells me how many students have signed up, and I can view or print it. Down here at the bottom, you can see that I have all these other students that have registered for the team. And in this team assignment, I'm going to click and I'm going to select which team to put them in and hit submit. And then now I know that I've got an extra student up here. I can keep track of my numbers. I can keep track of what team they're on. And if you come in here and somebody has accidentally chosen your school, over here where it says remove, this would be to take that student off of your school. And then that gives us lets us know that there's a student out there that we need to track down who is there, whose school are they with, type of thing. But this is how you know, back to the question from Hovatter, this is how you find out what students have signed up and which ones haven't. For those of you entering students by paper, by hand, they'll also show up here. Let me go back one step. Volunteers, if you go in here, we'll tell you your number of volunteers. It says that I have 3 teams. How many more volunteers do I need? I needed 2 in this case for this test school. So I've got my 2 volunteers there. That's how you'll check on getting your volunteers in there. Then we come to, let me skip over device scheduling for a moment. Update your event totals. This is the one where we want to know how many teams you are bringing to each event. And then make sure you hit submit at the bottom so that we know how many students, or how many teams you're going to bring. For me, it's 1 for 3rd grade fossils because I only have 1 3rd grade team and so forth. And actually for 3rd graders, if you've got 3rd graders, it's only going to be 1 for each of those because you can't, unless you have 2 3rd grade teams. That's a possibility. Let's see what's next. And then device scheduling, once it's available to you, then you can come in here and you select the team. And then it gives you all the building events and you can select what time fits best on your schedule for each event. And this would be the time that the students will come. So that's the event scheduling. picking times. That's going to be most important here. And the rest of it is pretty much stuff we've talked about before. I don't think we have any school that hasn't paid yet. If you need to update your coach information because you haven't you've changed something like your email or whatever, let us know so that we can get that fixed. Anything else I need to cover there, Anbu?
Yeah, we're good.
Yeah.
Okay.
The lights off. He doesn't even know.
Any questions from coaches out there?
Does he have water? I'll get it. What should I say?
I'm Cindy Chen. So I just wonder, so if my co-coach, can she sign up as a co-coach and also get access to those information as I do?
The assistant coach, yes.
How can my assistant coach sign up as a co-coach?
They just need to go sign up for a portal account. Did you let us know on your intent form who your assistant coach is?
Oh, I'm not yet. So I should email to you, right?
Yes, make sure you email us a name so that we don't put somebody in there. Because a lot of parents try to sign up for accounts and they don't need accounts. So email us with the name of who's going to be
Okay.
who's going to be your coach. Karen did put in
Hi.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Hello. All right, let me show you one other thing that I was talking about. Down at the bottom of your coach page, there's tournament scheduling.
哇，刷的好干净呀！真的啊。喝水啊！我把
Can
你
you
尿的
please
床上。
please turn off your microphone? All right, Ambu, are you seeing the coaching files? Okay, so let's say that I have team 15. I click on this scheduling. So whether it's a 115 or a 415, it's the same thing. And you can see here, it blocks off all the times you cannot participate in this event and that all of your students must come. So like if you have 2 teams of anatomy, because you have 2 teams, they have to come at that 11 o'clock time. And then down below that, you can see, if it's Johnny who's got to do anatomy at 11 o'clock, he can't be doing Build-A-Barge at 11 o'clock also. So this will help guide you to set up your schedule. So the morning is on the top and then the afternoon is on the bottom. And you can see on the morning, there's going to be 2 conflicts for every team. It's usually astronomy and fossils, and anatomy and picture this will be the same for everybody. Those are the conflicts we wrote about in the rules. And down on the bottom, there are no conflicts except for, trying to fit a student into a schedule. This is also why we suggest that students have no more than 3, because it helps them it helps you with your scheduling, not them. It helps you with their scheduling. Okay, back to let me go back to this question really quick. To Cindy Chen, the written tests for the most part are either multiple choice and fill in the answer. Students will work on the test together as a pair. They can take the test apart. So one person works on one side, one person works on the other side. They can check each other's answers. At my school, I usually have a strong reader is reading every question and the other student is giving them answers. So they're working on it together. They're not in isolation. And I don't think there's any other questions there. All right, let me get back to our presentation. There we go. I needed to make a plug for our souvenir t-shirts for those of you who have families that want. This is all of our events here on the back. And the front has a Vaso over the heart. They've extended it to October 2nd. So you can get that out to parents, see if they want to do that. Some thoughts. We've had a lot of coaches reach out, parents reach out to us about clarifications of events. In our rules, we will not issue any clarifications except when we need to really clear up some things, and we'll notify you of any clarifications. And usually this comes when somebody has read the rules and finds something. Oak Street found something, so we do have to make some changes. The other big thing is that the three of us, Ambu, Nick, and I, we're volunteers. We spend countless hours doing things to make sure these competitions run really well. Today, Ambu and I have already given up 4 hours on this. So just be mindful of that, that we are the volunteers. We will be updating ecosystems, astronomy, and forestry. I forgot to include rubrics in our rules manual, so I'll be sending out those updates to you, and we'll be posting a new manual out on the website so that there's no misunderstanding about those 3 events. All right, and I saw another chat come up. Thank you. Thank you, Sangita. Q&A. What's your questions?
I have a question. So when I schedule my students for tech events, if I have 3 teams, all the 3 teams will have to participate. If they're participating in a particular event, they have to participate at the same time, correct?
Not in building events, no, just in the written test.
Okay, building events, they can participate at any time?
Correct.
Each team, okay.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
I have a question about the schedule.
Mm-hmm.
So I just wonder, where can I, so should I submit the schedule or I just for myself? Okay, I don't understand.
So you're going to use the schedule page that I showed. You're going to
Mhm.
use that to fill it out with your team members. And then you're going to use the building event part. Let me go back and share it again really quick here. Share screen. This screen here. So you're going to fill this out. And I need to just reminded me of something we need to do there. We need to make sure it's a copy and not an edit, or else everybody will be editing on their own stuff. Do me a favor when you guys get over here and download it to whatever document you want to use. Download it before you start writing on it. So you're going to fill out the top portion for morning and afternoon, and then you can go down to the bottom and start filling out your building events to make sure they're not overlapping for a student. And then that's what you're going to use when you go back into the portal to schedule your times for your building events. Does that make sense?
Yes, I understand this part, but where can I, so when we go to the portal, so what should I do in the portal? So can you show me, so that part?
Give me 1 second. Let me get over there.
Thank you.
So Sandeep, we need only your building event times and not your written test events.
Okay.
So the written test schedule, we already know, we know when your school will be coming in based on your team number, but the building events, you should notify us. Alan will show you where you will schedule them. Sure.
Okay.
And for the building event scheduling, what I'm understanding is it's incumbent upon us to schedule our team's building event times, correct?
Yes. Yes.
And then do we have to, and then when I go, forgive me, is my first time, I had excellent coordinators. This is my first time doing this myself. When I go to schedule my team's building times, do I have to put in the specific students' names as well, or do I just reserve it? Like
just your team number. Let me go in there and let me schedule. So when I go in, it shows me these are my 3 teams, my 3 practice teams. And then I go to select times, and then in here, I'm just picking a time. You're going to want to know the student names of who's going to come at 11 o'clock for Build a Barge and 9 o'clock for hydraulics. And then you just select them, and at the bottom, you're going to submit that those are the times that they're coming.
But you can see that you're doing one team at a time. right? So you're doing all the ones for, Alan picked on like Team Pikachu. So you do all of Team Pikachu, submit it, and then you can go to a different one of your teams and select for Bulbasaur.
Right.
Thanks for saying that, because I have 3 teams. So behind the scenes, I got to figure out not to double book anybody.
Correct.
Make sure they're all assigned to the. I figure out which specific kids can go to which events when, and then I reserve the and then I reserve the times per team.
Correct.
So one more question about the scheduling. So it says that the device testing is different from the building event time, right?
Device testing and building events are the same thing.
Okay, got you. That is the thing confusing. Okay, thank you. Very clear. Thank you.
All right. What's in the chat?
Maureen has a question.
Go ahead.
Hi, so I just want to clarify. I have one team with 12 students, so I can, I would only put 2 students per building event, right? Like I can't have 4 students do the same building event from my team. Is that correct?
No, only, well, based on what the rules are, just 2. The only event I think this year that we could have 3 in would be in Picture This for 3rd grade.
Okay. And the second question is, are we required to do any of, is each team required to do the test event? Like, could we come and just have, this is our first time with only 3rd graders. Is it possible that we come and each student just does one building event and that's all we do?
That's fine. That's,
okay.
That's, you as a team, that's your decision.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you do not have to compete in every event or every building event. You're coming to have a good time.
Perfect. Thank you.
For
Okay,
the
question from Jennifer. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead, yeah.
Hi, I'm having a bit of confusion on my team. So I'm bringing 3 teams from my school. Each team can be a mixture of 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade students, correct?
Correct.
So, for example, the 3rd grade fossils, I can have 3 teams competing in that event as long as there are 2 students from the 3 separate teams.
But they have to, for 3rd grade fossils, they can only be 3rd graders.
Correct. Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Thank
Yes.
you. I was just double checking.
Yeah. Yeah, those 3rd grade events are the only ones you have to make sure they're just 3rd graders. Or, and any other event, 3rd graders can participate in, but yeah, they can, you can have a 3rd grader with a 5th grader. That's you as the coach's decision.
For the events that require demonstration of pre-testing, off the top of my head, I can't remember what they are, but I correct me if I'm wrong. I'm presuming we don't have to do it at the scheduled practice time at the venue. They can generate those pre-event testing metrics.
So those are right. So those are the 3 events I need to send out the rubrics for: the forestry, the astronomy, and the ecosystems. Those are the only 3 that we have something happening before the event.
So Mike, are you asking about some building events where they will have to create a report of some sort or something else?
Yeah, no, thank you for clarifying that. Maybe I don't want to be confusing about it. I was asking about specifically about the building events where, like, I think one was rocketry, if I remember off the top of my head, where they have to arrive at the event, and unless I read the rules wrong, they're not allowed to participate unless they demonstrate that they tried, 15 sample runs ahead of time or something like that.
Right. I understand what you're saying now. So that part of the rules we put in there to make sure that the students are practicing before they come so that they're more successful. So most of the flying events, yes, we want them to go out and test test their ideas. And that's just a simple, for rocketry there, it's a soda bottle and it's a piece of hose, hooked up to it, and they build a rocket around it, and then they shoot it off. It's ping pong parachute is the one you're talking about, that we're going to use Stomp rockets for. So that's where they need to practice building something to hold a ping pong ball with a parachute and shoot it in the air.
That makes total sense. My question is, I just want to make sure I'm understanding correctly. They don't have to do those, but like to participate in the event, they have like the rules are very clear. They have to show up with 5 practice runs or 15 practice runs or whatever it is. My question is, do they have to do those practice runs? I'm assuming not at the scheduled practice at the venue, or can they do it in their own time at any time?
They're going to have to do it in their own time, because at the venue, we don't have time for practices unless it's written in the rules that they get 1 or 2 practices. Like in balloon car, I think they get to, make sure their car is going straight and things like that. And back to what Ambu was asking is, no one is bringing anything to the competition to build that's already pre-built. Everything has to be built at the competition.
Thanks for clarifying.
Dana?
Hi, I just want to clarify again. So if we have one team of 4th graders with 12 students, and so if we make groups of 2, then we would be registering for 6 different events. Like they can't do, like we wouldn't have like 2 groups of 2 doing the gliders or something.
You could have 2 groups of 2 do every event.
Okay.
It's just how can you schedule? I mean, they can participate in every event. In your case with 12, some of them, most of them are going to have 3 events. If it's your first time, you might want to set them up in pairs and say, okay, pairs, what events do you want to do together? And then build your schedule around that. But
so we can have multiple groups.
Yes.
Doing the same event.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Well,
So
hold on. Back up. Back up. You've got one team. You can have 2 students per event.
So I can't have
you can't
2 groups of 2.
Right. You can't have 4 students do astronomy. You can only have 2 do astronomy.
Okay.
Yeah, it's based on your how many teams you have.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Can I ask a question? Because there are a couple of questions on chat.
Cindy Chin, yes to your answer. If you're a 224, you're going to download the 22 to 28. I think Karen answered the question about scheduling. Once you get your team number and your volunteers in there, you can schedule your, you don't need to send us a schedule. It's just going to go right into the portal. So that would be submitting your portal. And you can change your times. Let's say that you make it tonight after you get, you've got your team number, and you put it in the system tomorrow, and you say, oh, I got a mistake. You can go back and change it as long as there's still space within the time you want to go to. Because once they fill up with the amount of teams we're allowing at each hour, then you're going to need to go back and, look at for another time. What's next?
Can I ask a question?
Back to the presentation.
Hi. So my question is, so because when I try to do the scheduling, so I saw many dot there, so I just don't know which one to download to use, because it has different time there. So that is the things I want to say.
Can you turn your volume up? Because I couldn't hear all that you said.
Okay, so the coaching files you share with me when I open the file. So there are several competitions schedule document. So I do not know which one to choose. So
It's
this
it's based on your team number.
so my team number is 2 to 24.
So you're gonna choose the file that says teams 24 to 28, I believe. Let me go over there really quick.
Because this only say team 1 to 7, team 8 to 14, so I cannot find that exactly.
All right, so hold on one second. If we go back to this one right here, the slide now, the first one, the 2 for you is you're going to the Langley you're going to the second competition at Langley. The second number, your 2-4, is your team number. So you're going to look at the file that we want you to copy, and you're going to choose the
21 to 28.
Yeah, the 21 to 28.
Oh, that's why. Thank you.
Yeah. Oops, didn't mean to do that. All right, any other questions?
Yeah, in submersibles, you're saying that the team may build 2 submersibles, one for testing and one for scoring. The question is, the materials provided at the event, will it be twice the material if we want to build both, or is it just the same material but needs to be used both for testing and scoring?
So one of the issues that we had last year is, since we're using paper straws, the first one usually gets really soggy, and it changes the way that they were competing. So they're going to get enough materials to make 2 submersibles, and they get to choose which one they want to use for their testing and which one they want to use for the final competition. Now, they could skip the testing if they wanted and just go straight to the final competition, but they're only going to get the one shot there.
But the 25 centimeters of masking tape, we are going to get only 25 centimeters, not 50 centimeters, correct?
Give me 1 second, please.
Yeah.
All right, repeat that, please.
No, the 25 centimeters of masking tape.
Okay.
Is it for each submersible that we are going to build, or is it for both the submersibles combined, one for testing and one for scoring?
It's for both submersibles.
Okay.
Now, if you think about it, that 25 centimeters of masking tape is actually 1 meter long.
Correct.
Because if you teach them how to cut it correctly, they can cut it into 4 pieces and make it 1 meter long, and they'll have 1 meter of tape.
Correct. And the other question on that was the confusion and
okay, you're asking for a clarification. I want to get into the competition day.
Gotcha.
So because we said we're not gonna get clarifications out. So I'd rather you hold that. All right, is there anything else on competition day and coach portal and those kind of items?
For our volunteers who have signed up, correct me if I'm wrong, please. I assume that we as the head coaches do not need to do anything to schedule the volunteers, that you folks handle that.
If we need them, yes, Ambu schedules them.
Great, thanks.
And don't forget, Mike, you can schedule yourself as a volunteer too.
Well, I've done more than my fair share, so
no, I understand, but if you need that last volunteer so that you can get your schedule set, you can volunteer. Ambu does have mercy on us at times.
Is there any reason why you would want to, so as a coach, is there any reason why you would want to have a separate volunteer?
Is there any reason why you would want to have a separate volunteer?
Yeah, that's a coach.
Well, you're going to need 2 volunteers if you only have 1 team.
Okay.
So,
but if you had 2 volunteers and a coach, there's no benefit to that.
I'm sorry.
If you have 2 volunteers and a coach,
Yeah, there's no reason for yeah. If you've already got your volunteers, you don't need to sign up. What will volunteers be doing on competition day? So, depending on how they're needed, it could be that they are helping score tests. It could be that they are going to monitor or proctor a test for half the day. If they're doing a testing event, helping with a testing event, they would stay with the event all the way through to scoring and final decision on who the winners are. So that would be a morning or an afternoon. If we need them to help on a building event, they're going to be with the event all day long. It goes along with the VASO and Science Olympiad's rule of making sure there's 2 responsible people in the room at the same time. And that, again, that would go all the way to conclusion of the event. You know, it may even come down to us just grabbing parents and saying, hey, we need to move all this materials out of the building and get it all packed out and things like that.
Can you please clarify that? So for what is the maximum? I think I heard you say they may have to be there all day. What is the maximum time expectation for a volunteer?
So it'd be, you know, based on the schedule there, probably 8:45. If they're in a building, it'd be 8:45 to about 3:30. For a testing, for a test. Go ahead.
So a volunteer could potentially be there for 6+ hours.
Correct.
If they're in a building event. If it's a written event, it would be about 4 hours.
Okay. And Ambu, you'll be contacting all the volunteers with necessary requirements.
Yes.
Great.
Yes.
And we'll also contact coaches if we're not going to need your volunteers. In that case, they turn into your chaperones. You know, walking kids to and from, or, you know, making sure kids are safe out in the parking lot.
So we try our level best to not use the parent volunteers, but just on the safer side, we get the volunteer information so we can cover the events. But no matter what, you will hear from us at least a week before the tournament date regarding volunteers, whether we are going to need them or not need them.
Would you mind if I send 2 volunteers from our school that, you know, some kind of brief email that they'll be hearing from you regarding potential schedules?
Sure, you can.
Yeah.
Any other questions? So as Karen said, the first 3 tournaments will have their team numbers by now. We will be finalizing the team numbers for the 4th tournament, so you should have that shortly.
And if you have if you've got all your volunteers in the system, you'll be able to schedule your event starting tomorrow at 2 o'clock.
And Alan, when are we releasing those clarifications that we talked about?
By tomorrow afternoon, I need to make sure, double check and finalize and turn it into PDFs and get it up. And we'll post them on our website. We'll update the rules manual, and I'll probably send them out to all the coaches by email also.
Okay, that would be all then. Thank you all.
Actually,
Thank
I have
you.
one more question. How many chaperones are typically needed by a school or per team?
That's up to the team. I mean, every parent of a child, every parent that shows up to the competition could potentially be one of your chaperones. You know, especially when we get into November, if it's getting cold in November, they may want to spend a half an hour in the building getting warmed up, you know, and trade places with people.
Okay.
So, if you have one team, we will be giving one chaperone lanyard. If there is 3 teams, we'll give you 3 lanyards. How you use it is up to you, and who you give it to, or during which duration you give it to which parent, it all depends on you.
All right, if there's no further discussions or questions, bid you all adieu. Have a good evening.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hi, Alan. This is Dalibor Kastanovic Stavro from Willow Springs. Just a quick follow-up question on the number of chaperones, because we struggled with that last year. We just happened to have a large number of students entering at the same time, and it was kind of not enough to escort kids to their rooms. So are there any exceptions? So we will have 3 teams.
You got
Are they
3,
going-
you get 3 chaperones.
That's it?
That's it.
Okay.
These
All right.
kids are very resilient, especially at Langley. I mean, once they see that it's just 2 floors, one above each other, they know how to find the rooms. My team doesn't get a chaperone because they don't
Oh.
need it. They should be responsible enough to find their places.
I thought so too. It didn't happen. All right.
But yeah, you just need to say, okay, Johnny's mom, you're going to take these 6 students, you're going to drop them off
Right.
at this event, and so forth.
All right. Well, thank you very much. Thank you
You're
for clarification.
Jennifer?
Thank you. Just a quick question. I know you said there'll be tags for our chaperones, but any parent can stay for the event, even if they're not volunteering. They can just hang out as long as they're just at our tent, correct?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay, I just wanted to be sure. Thank you.
Yeah,
Have a one.
that's why we allow them to use the restroom.
Yeah,
A
thank
long
you.
day.
Have a good evening.
Sorry, similar question. Can the coaches also chaperone, like take them?
Yes.
Okay, all right. So it's always beneficial if you have chaperones, additional chaperones plus the coaches.
Right.
Yep.
The coach doesn't need to wear a lanyard. The coach has their wristband to get in and out.
But they can walk around and, chaperone the kids too. Yeah. Okay, perfect. Thank you so much. This was super helpful. Thank you.
You're welcome. Pan, do you have a question? All right. Goodbye, Than. Suit, do you have a question?
Not right now. I might email you when I start putting my students in the portal. It's a lot.